Good morning, everybody, and welcome here to Texas Motor Speedway. We will begin today's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series media availability with none other than Daniel Suarez, driver of the number 19 Stanley Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Daniel, I'm sure just happy to leave Martinsville behind in the rearview mirror and get here to Texas. How excited are you to get on this new service here at Texas Motor Speedway?
Well, talking a little bit about last week, just happy to get that week over because it was a lot going on in that weekend, and it was a lot of work and a lot of rush and a lot of going on, and I'm just glad that we got that behind, and now we are working on what we have to do here in Texas. Texas normally has been a pretty good place for me. Now with a new Texas, I'm hoping to get the same results. So looking forward to hit the racetrack shortly.
Okay. We'll open the floor up for questions. If you have questions for Daniel, please raise your hand. We will get a wireless microphone to you. Questions for Daniel Suarez. We'll start here with Bob Pockers in the front and work our way around.
Bob Pockers, ESPN. Has this felt like a normal week at all after kind of the crazy week before?
Yeah, he's feeling more normal, more normal for sure. Last week it was just a lot of going on. I wasn't very excited to get to the racetrack to talk to you guys. To be honest, it was just a lot of going on, and I just wanted to get to the racetrack and drive the car and do what I love to do. But it was just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of adjustments, a lot of changes, and it was just going to be something different. When you change a key part of the team, definitely change something. So now for Texas, I feel like we have more time to adapt and to talk about things and to talk about the racetrack and to talk about the car. And just overall more confident of getting into Texas.
Okay, we'll go next here in the middle to Chris.
Chris Knight, CatchFans.com. Daniel, the consensus is that Cup Series guys running the Xfinity race tomorrow will have an upper hand for Sunday because of 300 extra miles. Do you feel like that it'll pay a benefit for you this weekend?
Yeah, big time actually. One of the big things that I was thinking during the week is that I was going to have those 300 extra miles to get used to the racetrack, to get used to the tire, and to learn a little bit. I think it's going to be very important to race the Xfinity race this weekend, just to try to get one step ahead of everyone else.
Okay, we're going to go to the middle here to Jim, and then over to the right to Mark.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. I know it was a very hectic weekend, but did you feel you had an opportunity to kind of establish something with Scott that will help you going forward? As I know he's been your crew chief before, but on the Cup side going forward.
Easy, Bob. Well, I just feel like it's a process. Scott, he has a lot of talent. He's a winner. He likes to win races, win championships. He has done it the last couple of years in the Xfinity staff with two different teams, with two different drivers, and that talks very good about himself. But what I have learned in the last couple months that in the Cup stuff is just a whole different level, and it's tougher. It takes more time, it takes more work, and it takes a lot more from you. And Scott, luckily he has had this kind of experience in the past. It's nothing new for him, but in the last 5 years, he hasn't done anything in the Cup stuff. So he's kind of like a little bit, he just not very used to everything that is going on, the rules and all these kind of things. And to get adapt and to get used to everything, it takes time. And I have a lot of confidence that he's going to do well. and we just have to, work as a team and support one to the other and to try to be competitive. We did it in the past, and I know we can do it again.
So it's kind of a learning experience for him too.
Yeah, for sure, and not just for him, as well for me. I'm still a rookie. I'm still learning a lot every weekend. But now, having a Scott in calling the shots, I feel like he's going to learn a lot as well at the same time. Luckily, we have very good teammates that we can lean on, and we can learn from these guys.
Okay, we're going to go to the right to Mark.
Mark Arrow, PRN. Daniel, 6 races into the process here as a rookie cup driver, has anything been easier than you thought? And then on the flip side, has there been something harder in this process than you thought?
Well, it is hard because when you are a little bit off, you are running 20 or 30th. And Xfinity was a little bit different, but overall, I mean, we had already a couple top 10s, and I don't feel like we have raced in the whole race very well, but we have closed the race good with a car that I felt like it was capable to do that, but not in the middle of the race. So I just felt I had a lot of conversations with Dave about having the right car in the middle of the race to try to be there at the end, and that's the only thing, because at the end of the race we had the car to do it and we were able to overcome. So I know that we can do it. We just have to work on our communication to get the car closer where I like, where I can feel comfortable and I can be fast, and I feel like that's going to be the best thing for me, and hopefully I can get to this point as well fast with Scott.
So anything easier than you thought, just in the process, whether it's working with the media or just anything in the process, been easy, or has it all been hard or difficult?
No, everything is just more, more competition, more aggressive, more media, more questions, more answers. Everything is more. So it's just more going on.
Por favor, responda en español también.
What was the question again?
Just talk about just the learning experience as a rookie and coming through.
Pues bueno, como piloto novato es un cambio grande. A pesar de que tuvimos la oportunidad del año pasado de ganar el campeonato en la NASCAR Xfinity Series, sigue siendo un paso grande. Afortunadamente tengo un gran equipo detrás de mí, un gran grupo de gente que trabaja muy fuerte día con día para poder tener carros competitivos, y en general creo que el salto ha sido positivo. Sin embargo, como todo piloto, siempre se busca ser más competitivo y tratar de tener mejores resultados, y espero que ahora con estos últimos cambios de equipo esperemos que los podamos concretar.
Buena suerte, mi amigo.
Gracias, amigo.
If I can have your attention here in the Media Center, we'll continue on with today's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series media availability. And we're joined by none other than Chris Buescher, driver of the number 37 Scott Products Chevrolet for JTG Doherty Racing, and also the cinematographer for the YouTube video watched around the world. Your cinematography skills have been praised by all the drivers in this garage area. How much grief have they given you for getting those laps on the track and giving them an insight into this new service?
I'm not sure who posted it or how it got there, but I wish I had thought of that. So I was trying to help our team, not everybody, but it kind of worked out that way. But yeah, we were here right after the Vegas race for before they had lines on the track, and just taking a look at everything. And yeah, I think Speedway did a pretty good job at paving it. It was extremely smooth. All the transitions seemed to be pretty good. And it was very wide. So trying to decide where to run in the pace car with no lines and not knowing where turns 1 and 2 will go once we get into practice here. It was definitely interesting, but it's gonna be a good time. I'll be a little bit curious to see who's gonna be the brave soul that goes on track first today. It won't be me, but we'll kind of sit back and watch it and see how it goes.
Okay, we'll open the floor up for questions. We'll start with Bob and work our way around.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Have a lot of drivers come up and talk to you about what you saw, or did they just rely on the video?
A handful. You know, it's kind of just come from driver intros. Everybody keeps asking me about the racetrack, and I didn't really. Nobody's really said what they've seen, and finally, I think last week, Matt DiBenedetto is like, "Yeah, I saw your video on YouTube. You know, what else did you see?" And I was like, "Well, how'd you find that?" But I guess I've been getting questions pretty regularly, and really, it's hard to say. I mean, what are you really going to learn in a pace car at 60 mile an hour that you're going to be able to apply? But you know, just from seeing it, you know, I think the video really tells most of what we can really tell right now until we actually get up to speed on the track.
We're going to go to your left to Drew.
Chris, Drew Davison, Forward Star Telegram. Come back to Texas, does it ever get old for you, and kind of what sort of memories do you have as a young kid coming here and then obviously now racing here once again?
It never gets old. It's always nice to come back home where it started. Actually, as we were riding in here, the Legends cars are practicing out on the 5th mile behind Big Haas, so brings back memories really quickly there. You know, probably run thousands and thousands of laps on that little track, as well as the quarter mile on the front stretch here. And you know, it's always been a place that kind of grew up around a lot of people that are at the track, and you know, kind of get to see them still. We're just at a little different stage now. So for me, it's always nice to come back home. I got a lot of friends and family that'll come out to this race and camp out, hang out, and you know, for us, it's a way to, you know, get back in and see them. You know, for my family, they're a lot farther away now than they used to be out in Prosper, but it's still a good opportunity. So I got to go see Dad and some of his friends, you know, that aren't just a couple miles up the road here last night, and then my mom's coming in this morning, so we'll be able to see her for dinner this evening. So just it is nice because we don't have very much time to go visit family during our year.
Okay, we're going to go to the middle to Chris.
Chris Knight, KidTrends.com. Chris, I was just curious, how important was that 11th place finish at Martinsville to you and the team?
You know, for me, that was definitely the best we've run at Martinsville, and you know, still pretty bummed we didn't get to qualify. I feel like we could have had a little better day yet, but you know, for us to be able to start where we did and be able to work our way up through it, Trent made some really good calls. Our car was really good through the second half of the race, and really before that, you know, our first run wasn't quite where we needed, but we were able to work on it and get it rolling. And for us, I mean, it was huge for our point situation. It was huge to be able to get a good run, and you know, it's huge for JTT Doherty, not only for me but for AJ to go up there and run. Was it 6th, I believe? So I mean, that was huge for him as well to be able to make up all the spots that he did. And you know, for me, it's a place where AJ has run really well in the past, and was really able to lean on him to try and figure that place out a little bit more and look at a lot of data as we were at the racetrack, and it just enabled us to go out there and be a little bit more competitive than we have in the past, and that was definitely big. You know, we proved that we have a good mechanical grip in our race cars, and we have good speed in them. We just got to fine tune that as we go to some of these larger tracks.
Additional questions for Chris Buescher? Go to Mark.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Chris, you just talked about family, friends, and all that. At any point, is that ever too much? I mean, when you come to your home track, or have you ever been overwhelmed by the fact you're trying to make every friend and every family member happy on a race weekend?
Sometimes, you know, it is hard because everybody's you know, on their different schedules and trying to come in different times and all that. But it's not bad. I mean, we've you know, we've been here in the past, and you know, we've had very busy weekends, and because it is a home track for me, it seems like we do a lot more you know, media obligations as well versus just, you know, all the other stuff with family and all. So yeah, it's a lot, but it's awesome to be able to do it. It's awesome to have enough people close enough to the racetrack that I do get to see them once or twice a year. And for me, I mean, it's yeah, a little busy, but it is nice to have something to do when we're in town, it's not just hanging out at the racetrack and being stuck there, not knowing where to go, who to see. Have plenty of options here, so it's always enjoyable coming home.
Additional questions for Chris Buescher? Well, Chris, thanks for the sneak preview of the new Texas Motor Speedway surface, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
If I can have your attention here in the deadline room, we are now going to continue on with today's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series media availability. And we are joined by Clint Bowyer, driver of the number 14 Haas Automation Ford for Stewart Haas Racing. Clint, people have said this is the year of Clint Bowyer's rebirth in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Does it feel that way for you, and how enjoyable is that?
I don't know about birth. I don't feel old, but it's certainly an exciting year, a fun year, an anticipated year, for me. So things are going good. Things are going relatively smooth. You always want to be better. You always want to be contending for wins each and every week. That's what they pay us for. But so far, so good. We weathered the West Coast storm. And he got back, and now it's the guys are hard at work, trying to improve on any little thing that we need improved on, and it's just fun to go to the race shop every week and be talking about what we're going to do to get better for the following week.
Okay, we will start here with Drew on the left and then go to Claire.
Clint, Drew Davison, four-star Telegram. Can you, on your left?
There you are.
Yeah. Can you talk about kind of the new pavement and what you expect from Texas, and you feel like it could be a good thing for you to maybe restart, regenerate, whatever you want to say, of some good runs here at Texas?
Man, I don't know what to expect, and the good news is I don't think anybody else does either until we get these hot rods on the racetrack and get a feel for the grip level that the track has. I can tell you, I went for a walk last night, and Cash had his little car, and he slid off the bank, so I knew it's pretty slick. I know that's what we're all going to fight, just finding a good happy balance on this thing. The lower downforce package is certainly going to be alive. You're going to be fighting that on these conditions like this with a hard tire and a fresh repave. I mean, these things either make a lot of grip and you're happy, or they don't. And the second they don't, it's like being on ice and you're just up on top of the racetrack and begging for an adjustment. Practices are going to be a premium. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to find that grip level on, in a good balance. And I think in doing so, the tricky part is I think you're going to have a ever-changing track too, as we keep rubbering this track up more and more and more, getting laps on our tires. These hard tires seems like in the past they keep getting better and better, as they go. So the combination of all this is certainly, going to have the workload high this weekend on the teams and the engineers and certainly the drivers. So looking forward to the challenge.
Okay, we're going to go to your right to Claire, and then to Bob, and then to Lee.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Some of the Xfinity racers said, thank goodness you guys are practicing first, because they're going to be watching.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd pack the track for us. I don't know. Eddie needs to, that's short track 101. You have the sport classes pack the track for you. What the hell?
So there you have it. What do you think you're going to learn in the first practice? How much time do you think it will take, maybe even to the middle of the race, or maybe not even this race, for you guys to really figure it out?
Oh, I think it's, these teams are so good with the experience with the technology and everything that we have. The tools that the guys you have, it's incredible to see them go through a race weekend, whether it's a new pavement or an old pavement or whatever the case may be, to find that optimum grip load in the car and ultimately make those things fast. They'll have them trimmed out. That's the crazy thing about these teams is how well they can get these cars, how close they can get them to 100%. Mechanical grip is what I'm talking about. Obviously aero grip and things like that are some things you can adjust here and some things you can't adjust here. But at the end of the day, all these teams in this garage at this level are capable of getting that thing pretty close to 100%. That being said, you got to unload a good hot rod. the guys had to do a good job at the shop and bring a car capable of getting the job done for these teams that are at the track to go to work and have their turn at bat. I think it's just everybody's been nervous about this one. Nobody's tested here. Nobody really knows what to expect until we get on the racetrack. And to answer your question, how long is it going to take? Who knows? Nobody knows.
Okay, we're going to go to Bob, then to Lee, and then to Joe.
Bob Hockers, ESPN. Are you wearing any of the heart monitor or biometric devices that give you the information?
Hell no.
Okay.
Why?
That's
Last time I checked, nobody has ever paid me to wear a heart monitor or to do anything other than finish these races up front and hopefully win them. No, I'm sure mine's probably high and low. Just depends on what it is. But I can guarantee you this. Anybody's heart monitor in these cars, I can promise you if something bad happens or they get cut off or crashed, that's probably going to be their peak moment.
okay.
Not driving in the corner. We have power steering, Bob.
Yeah. I have another question. Kyle Larson last week talked about how he runs dirt races, obviously because he likes it, but also because he feels like it's a good connection to roots.
It is.
You own dirt track teams. Is there anything that drivers or NASCAR can do to help with the connection to weekly or local tracks?
It's the reason that I have 2 dirt late model teams that compete all across the country. It was my dream to do that, and I think it's my obligation, racing at this level, to still go back and visit these grassroots, short tracks all across the country. The weekly racing is what put me on the map and gave all of us an opportunity to showcase our talents to the race teams and stuff that we're racing for today. So, yes, that's our, that's the support series. That's the level that gets everybody here. It's not just drivers, it's crew members, it's engineers, crew chiefs, over the wall guys. Everything that you see that makes up the Cup Series all starts in one way, shape, or form in a weekly racing series somewhere across the country. So I love being a part of that. As long as I've told my guys, they always ask every year, do I got a job? I said, as long as you see my ass in a Cup car, don't you worry about your job.
Go next to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Can you talk about the evolution of your relationship with Bugga? And he seems like a no-nonsense kind of guy, where you're probably a complete nonsense kind of guy. So how do you mesh the two personalities together?
Complete? You gave me a complete nonsense guy.
Well, you know
Is that
what I mean.
like-
You're like fun and games, and Bugga doesn't give me that
No,
impression.
it's the hardest thing to try to get a laugh out of him or a rise in any way, shape, or form, other than just pissed or or just completely disgusted with me. But it is a lot of fun. He's young. That's a neat thing about Mike is how young he is compared to a lot of his peers, at his profession. And, the work ethic is what you care about. And I think that's, what he cares about in me. As long as I show up, for my meetings and I take my work serious, that's the thing about me. People don't see that side. I want to run up front. I want to compete, and that's why I go, get out of bed and go to work. That's why you go each and every weekend, drag your family all across the country to do this, because you love to do it and you want to compete and you want to win these races. It's been a while since I've had somebody as dedicated as Mike is. I mean, he's the guy that you literally have to say, Mike, go home. Go eat a dinner with your family, take your wife out to dinner, do something, get your mind off this. He'll call you 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and he's still at the shop working with his head in his computer. I mean, that work ethic is instilled in pretty much everybody at Stewart Haas, and Mike's no exception. So, very fortunate to have him. He's brought me a lot of good hot rods already, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So, personality-wise, probably not. No, I would say you're spot on. We're definitely polar opposites, but at the end of the day, when you run up front and you finish up front, everybody's happy. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are. Yep.
Okay, we're going to go to Joe, then to Jim, and then over to Mark.
Joe Medzer, Fox Sports. You've talked about the pavement, the repave. What about the reconfiguration of turns 1 and 2? Is that as much of a concern, more of a concern? And also, do you think what you went through last year is making you enjoy this year that much more?
I think the pavement and the entrance to turn one definitely feels quite a bit different, just driving around in a pace car. And actually, the exit of 2 is probably the biggest change. It seems like as far as the bottom goes down, to the apron, how they extended the width of the racetrack, really you feel that a lot more off of 2. Used to run out of real estate in a big way. It feels like you got room to actually let it have its head a little bit more, as you're exiting, maybe even earlier than you did before. So it's hard to tell when you're going around there in a pace car at 100 mile an hour and you go around there cycling around there 200 mile an hour in a cup car. When you get in it, business picks up in a big way, and what you may have thought was the right way around isn't. I do know that they burnt some rubber with the rollers, whatever you want to call it. The track is really clean down on the bottom, and it seems like the preferred groove right now. We'll have to see if that widens out with momentum. And like I said, when you get cars out there going that much faster than a passenger car, who knows where it's going to be, where the happy spot's going to be in that racetrack. But for right now, from what I've seen, it's going to be on the bottom. Last year. No, I think I was prepared to enjoy this year, even last year. I mean, it's just something this is an opportunity that doesn't come along very often, whether it was my first opportunity in this sport or the last, to be able to drive equipment like I'm driving, the manufacturer and Ford, their support that they're giving us, everybody at Stewart Haas, the management, the sponsors, the teammates. The teammates are so, you just don't put enough emphasis on the impact that a good teammate can have on you. Drivers capable of winning races, winning championships. I got 2 championship-winning race car drivers as teammates. Danica, everything that she brings for our whole entire sport, let alone our company and Stewart Haas Racing. So, this is the opportunity that you're almost giddy about no matter where you're at in your career.
Jim?
Jim Under Motorsport.com. He kind of asked you similar to my question, but just to kind of expand on it. You talked a lot looking forward to coming into the season, and while it's only been about 6 races, is it everything that you hoped it would be?
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to struggle. There's nothing in this sport at this level that comes easy. It just doesn't. It doesn't matter what racetrack you're at or what the circumstances are. It's always hard because there's always the next guy that's working every bit as hard as you are to accomplish the same goal. That being said, I knew it was going to be a lot of fun. I'm very well aware of Kevin. After we were teammates, we remained friends. We've done a lot of things off the racetrack together. I was really excited to get back to working with him because literally everything I've ever learned in this series, in this sport of racing heavy race cars, was always in his seat with his pedals, where his steering wheel was. I mean, it was, hey, you want to get in? That was where Kevin had it, and I didn't know any better. Never drove one before, so literally everything I ever did when I learned how to drive these cars was how Kevin did it. What Stewart Haas? What do you want to do with your pedals? What do you do to the seat? Hell, I don't know. How's Kevin have them? That's probably pretty good to me. It's been that way my whole career. Might as well stay that way. And then Kurt. I mean, Kurt really dissects his car more than anything that I've ever heard or I've felt, and it really gets your mind going of maybe what you thought or tripped a trigger somewhere of, yeah, maybe that's what I was feeling and thought I was feeling something else. So it's a breath of fresh air to be in a competition meeting and a debrief meeting and working on the next week or even the race after practice. It's pretty cool to have those guys' input going into the race or into the following week.
We'll go to Mark and then to Jerry.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Clint, the way you were talking about the short tracks here moments ago, anything about that you ever miss? Is there something about that you think back and go like, that'd be pretty cool to try to do that again?
Well, I think, unfortunately, my days came and gone for that. That being said, both my drivers, I think one's 51 and one's 52 and one's like 48. So I've got a long ways to go to work on my short track career. My 51-year-old fell off a piece of machinery. I think he's 52, sorry. I think he fell off a piece of machinery, broke his tailbone, called me the night before the race. The next night he wins with a broken tailbone. So I guess there's no chance of me growing up anytime soon and probably will be doing that. But it's so important. It's cool that Eddie's put this race together here this weekend. I don't like having these racetracks with the racetrack sitting right next door. Perfect opportunity to showcase some more racing for our fans. Let's use it. You know, if all it is a water truck and a tractor, let us work on it. We got the best track operator there is with Tony, you know, and I think he's going over there to work on his track for the conditions of his own race. I think that tells you, you know, how much short track racing means to us racers. It's a big part of our lives. It always was a big part of our lives and still is today.
Jerry?
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net and PRN. Not a racing question, it's more of a logistics question. Do you still have the plane that you bought several years ago, and how does that help you, if you do, get back and forth and travel? Because some of us yesterday had some serious logistics problems with travel.
And that's why we have planes. We have to. You know what I mean? I mean, could you imagine not getting here for practice? Don't mean to be, you could probably do your job with Wi-Fi connection from the airport if you had to. I don't think the Wi-Fi connection is going to get me paid if I miss Texas Motor Speedway. So, you know, that's a big part, a big expense that we have in all of our lives. But it's worth it. I mean, it's for sponsorship, you know, commitments throughout the week. You know, you never know when those are going to be. You never know. A lot of them are scheduled, but you never know when a sponsor is going to say, "Hey, I messed up. I need you. Can you be here tomorrow?" You know, that plane provides that opportunity to be there and capitalize on that moment for them and keep them happy, which keeps them on the side of them race cars. Yep.
Any additional questions for Clint? Clint, thanks for joining us today. Good
Thanks,
luck
guys.
this weekend.
Have a good week.
If I can have your attention here in the deadline room, we will continue on with today's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series media availability. And we are joined none other by 7-time Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion, Jimmie Johnson, driver of the number 48 Lowe Chevrolet, and somebody who has wheeled his way around Texas in the victory lane quite a few times. New surface, new configuration. Do you feel like you have it in you to conquer it again this weekend?
I have it in me, but I think it's a clean sheet of paper. You can't pick a favorite right now. Anytime there's a reconfiguration, a new asphalt, it's a total game changer. So all of past history is now out the window, and it's like we're coming here for the first time.
Okay, we'll open the floor up for questions. We'll start with Bob, then go to Claire.
Bob Hockris, ESPN. Have you seen data from biometric devices of other drivers at all? And because I'm asking because you've always felt like your fitness level has helped you, but I'm curious. But that's almost been anecdotal. Have you gotten any actual data that shows that your fitness level helps you?
It compared to others.
Yes. Yeah. Like I mean, if you could see Dale Juniors and see Casey Canes and see Chases, you might actually have an idea of whether
Yeah, I mean
it's accurate.
the biometric stuff that we have, it's very limiting in what it tells you. I think more than anything, when I look at it, and the only time I see it is if somebody posts it to Twitter or whatever, and I can see it there. We all have different max heart rates, and that doesn't give you any indication of their fitness level. We just all have a different heart rate zone that we work in. So I see some people have a much higher heart rate than myself. Mine's lower. It's just the way that I am. Your fitness level is more representative by how quickly you recover and how low your resting heart rate is. And it's very difficult to see on there where that is. And if you're able to sit on a bike and be given a set amount of watts or some kind of baseline effort and then judge heart rate on it, would be easier to understand how you stack up to someone. But I think it's good information, and I think we've been, it's better information for the fans, and people think that we're just sitting on our couch and it's not a tough environment. So I think it's helped show that, hey, look, the heart rate is up. It's up for 4 or 5 hours. I'm averaging 130, 135 heart rate through a 4-hour period of time, and anybody that goes out for a run and tries to carry that heart rate for 4 hours, they're going to be on the side of the road pretty quick. So I think it helps us tell the story that we are athletes inside these cars more than I can look at another driver's limited biometrics and say, they had a more difficult time than I did or learn anything from it.
We'll go next to Claire, then to Mark, then to Brant, then to Jeff, and Joe.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I have a question and a quick follow-up. You are a master at breaking tracks down until you get it, a corner, a turn, a track. We talk about the teams preparing and getting ready for the unknown this weekend. How do you digest and break this down as the driver?
Getting started, just look at the big areas of speed. It's not about the fine details. Hopefully the baseline run or two, you get the big issues out of the way, and then you can get into those little details. And honestly, those little details is where Chad and I do our best work. The bigger pieces we seem to struggle with over the years, and once we get on the right trail, we can extract a lot out of the little detailed areas.
Quick follow-up. I watched the video of you shushing down the mountain, and you're obviously a very good skier and very smooth. But I thought initially, does he not worry about falling and breaking a leg or something? Do you ever worry about that or think about that when you're off going down the mountain with a GoPro?
Yeah, I think about it, and I think I manage my risks. I know that my team owner is at least okay with me being out there. I'd look at the or the video I posted recently, and I'm on a very low pitch, very wide open powder snow. I mean, it's the best, and nobody around. It was in this private area of the mountain. We were riding in this cat to get out to it. So I felt like I was managing my risk pretty damn well to go into that environment. But you can get run over by a car cycling, running. You can step off the curb in front of a bus. I feel like every driver is willing to take certain risks for their fitness and to live their life. And me being on those skis, it's more about living my life and doing something I enjoy. I've been doing this for way too long, and if I stay in this little quarantined area, I might go Carl Edwards, and I want to do that. So I need to live my life, and this is the way I do it. And sure, there's a lot of drivers right now getting fit. A lot of guys are choosing to ride the bike. Somebody's going to fall and get hurt. It just happens. And I hope that everybody in this room, and I hope our fans, don't overreact. I mean, we have to live our lives. And we didn't develop these out-of-control tendencies in a race car by sitting in a rubber room playing chess. I mean, we got to live our lives. So I say all that because at some point somebody will get hurt, and I just don't want there to be an overreaction. I guess that's it.
I spent way too much time in a rubber room playing chess. Go to Mark.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Jimmie, recently Eddie Gossage talked about how he's been after NASCAR for a long time to slow the cars down, that he defies race fans to tell the difference between 185 and 200, that you and your fellow drivers could put on a better show at 185. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I don't disagree. I feel like the driver council gave the drivers a collective opportunity to share the same thing and to have the same voice. And when you look at the rules package from 2015 till now, the goal has been to create off-throttle time and slow down the center of corner speed from a safety perspective and from a race quality perspective. So it's a direction the sport's been going in, and I think the next step is looking at the tracks and trying to create more lanes, and certainly to look at the asphalt and what type of asphalt we put down. And I commend Texas Motor Speedway for looking around at recent repaves and tracks that showed the highest tire wear in Kentucky and what we're going to drive on today. There's been a big effort made in creating some texture in the track to help promote tire wear and to slow the cars down over the course of a run. We don't mind going fast for 5 or 10 laps, but when you get into the heart of the run, we need fall off, we need tire wear. That's only going to create more passing. Nobody's going to notice a 5 or 10 mile an hour speed difference, but you're going to notice a massive difference in entertainment as the cars can run side by side.
We'll go next to Brant, then to Jeff, then to Joe.
Brant James, USA Today Sports. Knowing that you must expect to get up to speed here and be a threat again since after the reconfiguration, is it all frustrating or worrisome that a place that's been a real chip for you, especially in the playoffs, is now an unknown quantity when you come here this time?
I hadn't thought of it that way. Phoenix, the repave and reconfiguration of Phoenix certainly brought me some heartburn. I guess maybe I learned my lesson in that, and I can't do much about it. And at 16 years in the sport, I'm I'm at a point where a lot of these surfaces are going to change. So it just comes with the territory. I haven't thought much about this one, but the Phoenix repave definitely messed with my mojo for a while.
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. Jimmie, on a very basic level, and please describe this like I'm a dumbass, which I may be. How do you go out on a brand new track that you've never been up to full speed before and like lay down what should be a fast lap on new tires and everything? Like, how do you know what to do? How do you know when to lift and all that stuff?
We will definitely tiptoe our way into it. And past history of this track, especially in 3 and 4, it looks pretty similar. I was out there in a rent-a-car. 1 and 2 is way different. So just trial and error. And I think the big issue we're going to deal with today is how quickly the rubber goes down. When I went out and drove around last night, I know the tire monster has been here, but there's just nothing like the real thing. And putting rubber down where we're going to run. I think in 3 and 4, it's pretty straightforward where we'll run. Over here, I don't know if we're going to run the bottom. From going into the corner and where all that real estate now is in that low lane, it's a pretty big transition off the straightaway to get down there. Just trial and error. We'll go out there and find visual reference points on the wall and use that as a lift point, judge how that corner went, maybe a little further. And I guess maybe one of the basic things that we'll do is look for visual reference points and systematically work our way up to speed. From lift points, braking points, and also back to gas points around the track.
We'll go to Joe, then to Jerry.
Joe Manzer, FoxSports.com over here. You kind of got into some of this already, but when it comes right down to it, and I know it's a clean slate and all that, but on Sunday's race, do you see the repave being a bigger factor or the reconfiguration of turns 1 and 2 being a bigger factor in the race itself?
I would say the asphalt itself. Tire wear has been so high here. In any caution, you'd take tires. Otherwise, you'd be lapped right away, and we won't have that issue. We'll probably scuff every set of tires that NASCAR will give us. We might put cold tires on, but they're not going to be worn out. You might have a little speed on the front side of a run with cold right side tires. I doubt we'll put many left side sets on. So I think the asphalt itself is going to be a bigger factor in this first race. As time goes on, I think the extra real estate we have in 1 and 2 will become more of the story, but getting started, it's going to be tire wear related in the asphalt.
Thank you.
Jerry?
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net and PRN. Not a racing question, but logistically, and I know it's expensive to have it, but can you talk about having your plane and using it to get across the country to races or sponsor stuff? You're probably aware that across all forms of motorsports, a lot of people had problems logistically yesterday and today, even still getting places and getting to the tracks.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's obviously very expensive, and once you get to a certain level in the Cup Series and the sponsor obligations are there, it's a necessary evil to have. It's a massive luxury for sure. And over the course of time, the teams have really ramped up their aviation departments. And somebody like Kyle Larson, I know he was talking about it last week, or 2 weeks ago, no, it was last week, about flying commercial and using team planes. And I went 2 or 3 years of hitching rides with Gordon, flying team planes and commercial, and then eventually I got to a point where I needed mine. It's a necessary evil for driver and team. If our crew members especially had to worry about flying commercial and delays, worrying about set hours, we'd be so inefficient and not be able to perform at the level we need to just due to time away from the shop. And heck, you might not even make it here for practice when it opens up.
Jimmie, thanks for taking the time to join us, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
If I could have your attention here in the deadline room, we are joined today by a panel of NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers who will be competing in tomorrow's My Bariatric Solutions 300 here at the newly repaved and reconfigured Texas Motor Speedway. It's the My Bariatric Solutions 300.
You're supposed to know that, Brennan.
I'm really sorry. I've been out of the country. What are bariatrics so I can talk about it?
You might want to Google it.
I need to Google that. Sorry.
There you go. So we have, we are joined here by Brendan Gaughan, driver of the number 62 South Point Hotel and Casino Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. Daniel Hemric, teammate, driver of the 21 Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff Chevrolet. And then Brennan Poole, driver of the number 48 DC Solar Chevrolet for Chip Ganassi Racing. Brendan, I'm going to start with you. Newly reconfigured, repaved track.
Hey, bariatrics. It's something for me.
There you go. It's right in your wheelhouse, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. So is a newly repaved racetrack like Texas Motor Speedway. Last time they repaved this place, you had a pretty good run here.
Yeah, that's my PR guy told me that when we started our 4-race win streak, that was right after they did the reconfiguration of Turn 4 and the repave. So if if history serves well, that sounds good for me. You know, I love Texas. Each configuration. I was here in 1997 with Butch Miller and Walker Evans Racing back in the original truck days, testing, building shocks for him, if you can believe that.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, no wonder Butch wasn't very good here. I was building the shocks. And so I've been here through all the different configurations of this track, and no matter what, I love Texas. It fits my style, and I can't wait to see what they did.
Okay, Daniel, what's it like to have a teammate like Brendan who's been through this process before that give you the kind of advice that you need to go out and attack this racetrack?
You know, obviously we always give each other a hard time, but it is good to have a guy like that who's been through so many different transformations of racetracks and different surfaces and configurations. So it's just an asset and a tool for us as teammates at RCR to lean on.
Tool being key word.
Yeah, tool. Yeah, and you know, just gives us you know, something else to look into and try to pick his brain about. I know once we get out of here, I'll have him hemmed up somewhere, just going through little stuff to look for the first run or two out. And you know, at the end of the day, we just got to tiptoe into it, kind of like Jimmie said in here before us, and just try to figure out what those limits are. But leaning on a guy who's been through it a couple of times will be a huge help for us.
Now, Brennan, you know, being the Texan and coming here away from the racing surface, you got a really cool opportunity yesterday to go to Waco into Magnolia Farms and be the envy of all the ladies and here to visit with the Fixer Upper folks.
Yeah, Lindsay was a little bummed that she wasn't here for that, but yeah, I watched the show. The stuff that Chip and Joanna Gaines are doing in Waco is pretty incredible to see, and just the energy and the kindness and everything that goes on over there. The stuff they're doing for the people of the town is just pretty. It's just impressive. It's almost like overwhelming in a way when you first get there. But it was cool. Yeah, I got some cupcakes. I mean, I did like the whole deal, man. It was good. They took us around the tour. We saw the silos. We got to go up on the roof. You could see all of Baylor and all of the downtown area of Waco. And so yeah, it was a lot of fun. I also got to make my annual trip to Whataburger. So you know, we don't have that on the East Coast where I live now. So I got to make a stop in there. And yeah, it was just fun, and it was cool to be back in my home state.
Okay, well, we're going to open the floor up for questions. If you have questions for these gentlemen, raise your hand. We'll get a wireless microphone to you. We will start here with Bob and then go to Joe.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Brendan, obviously you're wearing the shirt, so I figured knew you were going to get this question. What do you think of Ewing being new coach?
I forgot I was wearing it. I just grabbed a shirt this morning. I'm ecstatic about it. You know, I said from before I left town that I support the Thompsons through and through, and I would have rather had JT3 get another year at it. But you know, I've talked to 3 and spoke to him, and I spoke to the, you know, some of the stuff around there, and I'm ecstatic. I mean, I think that if you're a kid and you want to come to a program that you're looking for what it's going to do, you have a coach that says we're going to play a form of basketball that they play in the league right now, with a coach that's been an assistant head coach for 5 years in the league right now, and you want to, you know, you're going to walk into a kid's home and Patrick Ewing is going to be the guy recruiting you. I think that those are all huge things for Georgetown. I can't wait to see what Coach does. And Patrick said it in his deal. He's smart enough to know that he needs to get really good people around him to make sure that he does the things right, that take up for the stuff that he's not as good at. So Patrick will do that. The staff will assist him, and I'm excited to see what happens with Mahoyas.
Recruiting coordinator Brendan Gaughan there. Let's go to Joe.
Joe Manzer, FoxSports.com. Daniel, I understand that you weren't really a big fan of cowboy hats before an event that you went to last night, and now perhaps you are. Can you talk a little bit about that event and how it went?
Absolutely, that was really cool. Actually, I got to meet the president of Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff, who's on our car here this week at Texas, and Dave Savoca was just an incredibly nice guy, and We teamed up and went to, I think the Best Hats was the name of it. And it's got to be the Best Hats, right? Their name's on it. And incredible experience. I mean, you go in, you just see this thing. It looks in the form of a hat, but they shape it for you. They mold it to your head, make it fit, just perfect. And I told him, I said, man, if you're getting a hat early like that, it's got to be a good omen for the weekend. So I'm a good, big fan of the hats, and hopefully we can have another one here this weekend.
We're going to go to the left here to Drew, and then we'll come back over here to Chris.
Brennan, Drew Davison with the Forward Star Telegram. Do you feel like this is your home track, so to speak, and how much confidence are you coming in here with a pair of 8th place runs? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, this is my home track. I grew up racing here. I've raced every track at Texas Motor Speedway, so and I've won at all of them, but the big track yet. So, I remember being here for the very first race ever. I sat in the stands off a turn, well, pretty close to the start-finish line, but off turn 4, and so. I've been able to watch the track grow, and I feel like I've been a little bit a part of that, since I, started the first car I ever drove where you could shift gears was at the 5th mile at the backstretch when I got in a legend car when I was 12. So, I feel like, it's always cool for me coming here because I have a lot of friends and family that come up and watch the race. I got friends that are camping in the infield, and I got guys I used to race with that are racing at the dirt track tonight in the sprint cars. So, I'll probably go over there and watch a little bit this evening. But, so for me, it's just fun. And it would be very special for me to get my first Xfinity win here on Saturday. I think it would be just a really cool thing for me to have to say I've won every track at Texas Motor Speedway and to do it at a place that I grew up and I came here for the first race ever. So it would be pretty special.
Go to the middle here to Chris.
Chris Knight, GetFence.com. Daniel, after 5 races, your average finish is 14th. I was just wondering if you could assess your first 5 races with the team. And then for all you guys, I was just wondering if you could talk about how you if you like stage racing.
For kind of answer that question backwards, I am a fan of the stage racing because it's allowed our 14th place average finish points-wise to be better than what we've averaged for a finish, if that makes sense. So we're able to maximize some of those stages and get those points to better our season total, but we're definitely not satisfied with that average finish. I know as a company and as a group, especially my 21 guys, I feel like we've performed better at that, a lot better than that at times, and the finishes haven't shown. So we had our 5-week evaluation with RC this week and went through kind of things that we can capitalize on to make sure that we make the qualifying efforts correlate with the finishing position, which we haven't done a very good job of. So I think after that meeting, we're going in the right direction. Hopefully we can continue to improve upon that.
Brendan, what do you think of stage racing?
I've been a big fan of it. I said at the start of the season, let's wait till we play it out and see what people think. And so far, we've been on Phoenix, kind of a pseudo short track. We've been at Daytona. We've been at California. We have seen it change the way crew chiefs think. We've seen it really change the way even some of us drivers will approach it if something goes wrong early. I love the volatility of the points. With the playoff system, I don't care that we've had a struggle in the points with the West Coast swing. It means very little nowadays. So I'm very happy about that. And I think stage racing has done more than I expected it. I was not expecting the changes, especially on the crew chief side, that you'd be able to do. And it's really been neat to see it. I think it's going to be a pretty big game changer, especially when you get towards the playoff rounds. I think that's going to really play into a lot of people's minds, and you can gain a lot of points without having to win a race to move up or down in a playoff position.
Brennan, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been good for me. I know even at Daytona, just finishing 3rd in that first stage and getting those points, and then to later get crashed at the end of the second stage. I left there not really that far behind, and then the next week I was in the top 10 in points or something. So for me, that part of it's been kind of cool because you're never really out of it if you have a good week. So, and then no offense to you, Daniel, but at California I finished in the top 10 both stages. I think you missed out on one of them or not, and then I passed him in the points that week. So there's a lot of stuff moving around and going on. I think it's kind of cool that there's some more emphasis on points because for the past several years it's all been just wins, and I think showing that now you have to run in the top 10 and in each of the stages every single week to accumulate points. I think it kind of shows who was a little bit more consistent throughout the year. So for me, I like that part of it because I feel like consistency in a championship is something that needs to have some importance.
Additional questions for these gentlemen? Go for it, Chris.
Bristol's pretty intense as it is. You don't need to add anything to the intensity of Bristol. It's pretty intense as it is. We'll see, though. I mean, you can't play many pit strategies there unless cautions actually fly. It's not like Daytona where guys were trying to pit 2 laps before the window, to stay out to gain the, it's not like that strategy is going to play into mind. But if there's a caution at the right time, you could try, pitting. But the racing at Bristol, it's intense enough. I don't think you need any help, but it definitely, when it's $100,000 on the line, and for is it Justin has a chance at $1 million still right now, doesn't he? If he wins that one, he still is in the running for $1 million. So I think Justin has a lot of reasons to keep that intensity up.
Brennan, what do you think about the Dash for Cash coming up here at Bristol Motor Speedway?
Yeah, Bristol's tough. It's going to be interesting with that stuff. I forget what it's called. They spray on the bottom of the track, but I heard they're doing that again. So I think it's going to be interesting how that changed. I know, like, for our race last year, it kind of just went away, and we all started running the top. But it's going to be, I think that part of it's going to be a little bit interesting to see what happens. But, you just have to be smart and try to make the most out of your day and the most out of your race car and try to put yourself in a position to win the Dash for Cash. But most importantly, I think all of us just kind of approach it as a normal race, and we're just trying to go in and win the race and, get those stage bonus points. And, if you're in the hunt for that Dash for Cash, then go attack it and try to win it. But for the most part, like I know with our team and our guys, we're just going to approach it like any other race and try to put the best race car we can on the track and try to put ourselves in a position to win the race.
Daniel, if you win the $100,000, do you have any special plans?
Being recently
Pay me
married.
money, Omi.
Yeah, there you go. Being recently married, the wife's on me about building her a house, so that'd definitely be a huge help in that direction.
Well,
but
he can get you some fixer-upper advice.
there you go. That's actually where she's at
Probably
today.
give him a call.
Yeah, I might be in trouble by the time we end the practice today with her being there, but it would definitely be a huge step in that direction. But we missed out on the opportunity at Phoenix to put ourselves in the position to race for the Dash for Cash. So we got a little chip on our shoulder going to Bristol. I feel like we'll have a really solid shot at being able to lock into one of those positions and be able to race for it at the end of the deal, and look forward to take advantage of it.
Okay. Additional questions for these gentlemen? Guys, thanks for taking the time today. Good luck in tomorrow's My Bariatric Solutions 300.
Thank you.